Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to hop on in and I'm sharing with you um, some new product that I got from Tailored Expressions. I happened to see in one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook, someone had made up a bunch of these uh, kind of sentiment strips, and they did it from this red rubber stamp from Tailored Expressions. So I went online and I got them because they're all different sentiments. There's some happy birthday, there's a congratulations, there's so many of them. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share turning these into the strips with you guys. So I got my regular size Misty, and I'm just going to put the stamp in the bottom without the foam and press it down, and now it's on my glass. And I'm going to use on my white paper, I'm going to use the Versaclear ink. And now that I've done it, I will say those little blocks on the side, you should ink those up, okay? Because those are going to be how you line up the metal die. Okay, I didn't realize it. I was like, why is this getting inked up too? So only one of mine actually are inked up the way it's supposed to be. So I would say definitely make sure you hit those, because you're going to want those squares to be inked up so you can line it up. And you'll see here in a little bit when I go to die cut it. So I stamped it twice. That's the beauty of the Misty tool. It allows me to get a nice crisp image. And this one I'm just going to set aside, okay? Now for my second page, I was like, you know what? Let me do the other stamp. I'm just going to put this one to the side. I'm going to do the other stamp on black cardstock and heat emboss it with white. Because then I would have some that are in the white embossing and some that are, just the regular inked sentiments. I thought that would make a perfect match. So this new one I'm going to put down on top of the black cardstock. But on this one, we are going to pre-treat it because we're going to be doing embossing. And I want to make sure that my card does not hold any static anywhere to where the white is going to stick. Because let me tell you, it does. So I'm just inking this up with Versamark ink. And again, you're going to want to hit those squares because you want those to be basically visible enough to line up the die to cut them out. And right there, I'm trying to fix something. And that's why my attention isn't fully on my ink pad. I'm just pressing here, and then I'm going to press down with my rag. And I use the rag to help get pressure down in the spot. Okay, so that way you make sure like all the areas are getting even pressure. So we're going to stamp it again. Press with the rag and then lift up. All right, so now on my scratch piece of paper here, I'm just going to cover with the Brutus Monroe Alabaster White embossing powder, which is a nice bright white. And we're going to hit any of the spots that may not have gotten enough ink or powder on it when I just did it. So I'm going to hit it again for a second time and then just dump it back in. Now, if you have coffee filters in your craft room, that would have been a perfect time to use it, because I don't have the alabaster in a container yet. So it's definitely would be easier if I knew where my coffee filters were. I think I got them in a drawer somewhere. So I'm just going to heat up a little bit from the back, and then I'm starting to heat up from the bottom. And I'm sorry I went off camera. I was trying to make sure that it was melting. So I had to bring it a little bit closer to me, but I'll be back in camera frame here in a second. There we go. I find it very hard sometimes. Like, I know the camera is there, but you know, when you're just crafting the craft, you can bring your project up close to you. You can, you know, get down real close to it if you needed to. And it's hard to do that with the camera. So instead of bending down and you seeing my head, I pull it towards myself, and that doesn't help either. But I'm just going to rub real quick, get any extra powder off, and then this is ready to cut. Now, on my last video when I was talking about the die machine, one of my viewers mentioned that if you open both sides at the same time, it kind of locks it in place. And you know what? It did. So thank you for that suggestion, because it made it way easier. That was super awesome. And I think like at this point, I'm trying to get everything lined up and stuff like that. This does kind of lose its suction, but all I do is lift them up and close them down again at the same time, and it tightens up again. So I'm just using some purple tape, and I'm gonna lay down the image, trying to make sure everything is lined up. So that's why, you know, it's important, like hindsight being 2020 and this not being my first one I ever did, I would have embossed even the squares with the white, so that way they would stand out as well when I'm trying to line it up. And at this point, I think all I had was the watermark on just a couple of them to kind of line it up. So the black and white ones, they're kind of towards the bottom. They're not like right in the center, whereas the white ones I was able to get right in the center of the die for the sentiment. All right, and since we're using the Cricut, I'm just going to read off some of the ones that I have here. And they lived happily ever after, happy anniversary, thank you so much for being you. Yeah. Oh, no, for being so sweet. Sorry, I'm making up my own. Your kindness means so much. Trying to look at these. Oh, I said happy anniversary. You're simply fabulous. Welcome to the neighborhood. Happy birthday to you. Congrats, graduate. A note to make you smile. Welcome, little one. You make my heart happy. Holding you in my prayers. Sending you a big hug. Celebrating with you today. So grateful for you. I mean, there's some great ones. You're so loved, with deepest sympathy. And then on the white set, while we're cutting that one out, which I lined up, like I said, much easier, is eat cake and celebrate. Let the celebration begin. Birthday blessings. Wishing you the best day ever. May all your wishes come true. Happy birthday from all of us. Here's to many more. Did someone say cake? That's fun. Oh, even the Spanish, which I'm not going to ruin. Sorry to hear you're getting old. Belated birthday greetings. I mean, they're just some fun ones. Promise I didn't forget. Another year closer to Velcro shoes. And it's your day. Treat yourself. Hey there, birthday girl. I'm so glad you were born, and happy birthday, hot stuff. So now I have these two piles of sentiment strips that I can use at any time when I'm working on my card sketches. If I'm using a background or a technique and I just want to throw a sentiment on it. I don't necessarily want to do any type of stamping. I just want something really pretty with a nice sentiment. I have some already pre-done, ready to go. And I'm reaching at this point to get my dish that I have them in now. But I have a little small white dish that I keep on my desk. And at one point it was to hold, some small die cuts, or like if I did a bunch of hearts, or how do I explain? Like different stuff like that. Just a little dish to keep it in. And even though they stick out a little bit, they work. They work in here. And it's something tiny enough that I can keep on my desk, that's out of the way, and I can just grab it when necessary, or when I'm working on a card I can bring it over, and it'll be right there for me to be able to choose from. And in my opinion, I mean, you can do so much with these. I could do a bunch up using gold embossing, silver embossing. I even have, like, this dark navy blue that's on my desk, and I love the navy blue embossing powder. I could do a bunch up with that, any color, and just have them ready to go. So whenever I wanted to put it on a card, they would be ready. I love it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will make sure to get links for the tailored expressions, to the stamps and the die. And make sure you guys check them out, because this was brilliant. It's a great idea, and it's so much fun to just have all these ready to go. All right. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a great day.